Hey guys, and welcome to the video. We're going to be discussing previously announced, now cancelled Star Wars movies. So let's travel to a galaxy far, far away as we unravel this story. But before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and stay up to date with all the movie news we have going on around here, guys. So guys, we're going to jump into this Bounding Into Comics article. Rumour, Disney CEO Bob Iger scraps two previously announced Star Wars films. So, a new rumour claims that Walt Disney Company CEO Bob Iger is scrapping at least two previously announced Star Wars films. The new rumour comes from scooper WDW Pro, who states, quote, "I am told that two movie projects that were going to be taking place at Lucasfilm will not now. Now whether or not they will make any kind of official statement about this, or whether these just go to the dustbin or history quietly, we will find out." So yeah guys, over the last few years, they've announced quite a few different projects, like movies, Star Wars movies. Obviously, we had the Kathleen Kennedy sort of X-Wing movie, Star Wars Squadron movie. That kind of fell to the wayside, and we've had other kind of projects been announced here and there. And it's kind of just always faded into dust, into the background, and that's kind of all we hear. So from now on, when we hear a Disney project is in the works, it's hard to get excited about it, because you just know that they're probably going to work on it for a bit and something's not going to work out and then it will just disappear. So until we actually see a trailer or a poster, it's hard to get excited about a new Star Wars project these days. At least that's how I feel about it anyway, guys. So from there, WDW Pro detailed that two movies, one of those I am told is James Mangold. The movie is at least paused without ceasing, let's just say that. So Mangold's film was recently announced back in April at Star Wars Celebration. In a press release, Lucasfilm provided a brief overview of the film. James Mangold will take audiences deep into the past, telling a tale of the first Jedi to wield the Force and harness it as a liberating power in an era of chaos and oppression. To be fair, that sounds pretty cool. Seeing the first Jedi, that would be pretty cool. Could you imagine if you were the first person to wield the Force? Imagine if you were just sat at your coffee table one day and all of a sudden you stick your hand out and a coffee goes flying across the table and you're thinking, what the heck did I just do? You accidentally used the Force and you didn't even know what it was. That would be that'd be kind of funny. I could imagine that scene. It'd be quite funny to see. So the Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny director further elaborated about the film in an interview with Gizmodo in June. He said, quote, "When I mentioned to Kathleen Kennedy, that's Lucasfilm president, by the way, guys, the idea that I had about going backward, really far backward, I was surprised that it excited her and the other wonderful people she works with at Lucasfilm. For me, it's about I want to be part of the saga, but I also don't want to be holding so much lore in the air that you can hardly tell a story." Yeah, that's the kind of the thing, guys, with massive connected universes and IPs, like Marvel, Star Wars, things like Lord of the Rings as well, Harry Potter even. Because you've got such a massive amount of lore overreaching these IPs and these properties, sometimes there's like a really defined box in which a director can play in. And there's a certain set of rules and lore that you have to adhere to going forward. So if you had an amazingly good idea for a movie, a Star Wars movie, there's maybe certain things or characters or, ideas that you can't use because it would go against the lore, it would go against canon, it just wouldn't work with what's already been set up before it. So although working on a big tentpole franchise like Star Wars would be super exciting for anybody, you kind of got your hands tied a little bit with what you can and can't do. There's a set of defined parameters in which you have to play in. So, where are we? And what I really wanted to do, what I told her, was just, we can make a kind of 10 Commandments of the Force, and kind of an origin story of how the Force came to be known, understood, wielded, and harnessed. This is the thing, guys, like, on the face of it, that sounds pretty cool. Like I said, the first person to use the Force, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Because, obviously, there would be no sort of teachings. There would be no kind of idea of what the Force is or how to use it. So seeing the first person wield it, use it, harness it would be kind of cool. But then it's one of those things that's like, do we really need to see that? Like having the Force be a little bit mysterious, like the nature of the Force being a little bit mysterious, how it came to be. It's kind of what makes Star Wars a bit magical and a bit mystical. Kind of, the Force is always that ambiguous thing that's used. Where did it come from? How was it discovered? Who was the first person to use it? These are kind of questions that are more exciting to not be answered, in my opinion. So I probably wouldn't go there if I had the choice, but I can understand why they would. But so Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy also informed Dagobah Dispatch about how the film connects with Daisy Ridley, the Daisy Ridley film, that was also announced at Star Wars Celebration. I can't even believe the fact that they're making a Daisy Ridley movie. It just baffles me. Like, I don't think there was many people that really enjoyed her as, you know, as being Rey. Yeah, so why they're going back to it, I honestly don't know. We've been talking about a lot going on as well in the past, and one of the things that's really knitting this all together, obviously, are the Jedi. What happened with the Jedi over time, much like history? How did the Jedi evolve? They were wiped out with Order 66 and then gradually have been coming back. The question that we're going to ask with the new Jedi Order and with Rey is, does the galaxy need them anymore? Do they want them back? So there's a lot of food for thought, and what we're doing there in the past, present and future, Kathleen Kennedy continued. So later in the video, WDW Pro detailed that Taika Waititi's film is also being scrapped. He stated, the other movie that I have been told is essentially dead on arrival is the Taika Waititi film that we've been waiting for. He may turn something in, he may get paid for it. I'm told it's dead. It's just dead. I'm not sure why I added that many deads, but who knows. Maybe they'll pick it up years to come, but right now there's nothing behind it at all. Yeah, that's the thing that happens sometimes in Hollywood, guys. So you can pay, you can pay a screenwriter to write a script or to write a treatment or like a play or something. And sometimes, studios will shelve it and they'll use it in years to come, or they'll use parts of it in years to come with different projects. So just because someone's turned in, a script for a movie, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be made anytime soon. Like I say, they could shelve it and use it in years to come. We'll just have to wait and see. So the Taika Waititi film was announced back in May 4th of 2020, and seemingly no progress had been made on it. When asked about the project by Deadline back in March, he called it a rumour. He told the outlet, quote, "Yeah, that's a rumour about 3 years old, and all I'll say is, God forbid I make a Star Wars film about people sitting on mountains and playing flutes." Okay. For me, guys, Taika Waititi, he's okay. I don't really enjoy his films. I don't really enjoy his filmmaking. Like, we had Jojo Rabbit. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was good as what people thought it was. What was the other one that he did on Netflix with the Deadpool guy? I completely forgot what it's called now. Smart Guy? No. I can't remember what it's called. It had Ryan Reynolds in it. And is that one where he's like in a video game? I didn't think that was a good movie. I really didn't like that whatsoever. Free Guy, that was one. Yeah, I really didn't enjoy Free Guy. I didn't enjoy Thor Love and Thunder. I didn't enjoy that. So yeah, his style of filmmaking is just not for me. I can understand why people enjoy it, but it's just not for me, guys. So him doing a Star Wars film doesn't really get me that excited, to be honest. Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy told Empire in May that the movie was still happening, but Waititi was having issues with the third act. So she said, Taika Waititi is working away. He just, and he won't get mad at me for saying this, he's just slow. We've got a couple of acts, but we just need a third. Guys, just look at these cameras here. These are absolutely nuts. Every time I see these cameras on set of these big tentpole movies, I mean, look how complicated this looks. This camera is ginormous. Look at all these cables and dials, and man, you must have to study for a long time how to operate these things. I mean, to me, it just looks like space age technology. It looks absolutely crazy. But yeah, anyway. However, Waititi would tell The Hollywood Reporter at the end of May that the issue was the middle part of the film, not the third act. He said, quote, "I've got a really good idea for it. It's just as with all films, it's the middle part. You're like, what's going to happen? And then you look at all of those films that are so great. You're like, well, I guess they can meet some smuggler with an alien sidekick." However, he also noted that it's not a top priority. For the most part, I would like to take a few holidays and go and follow Rita around. Just be her little toy boy and hang out with her and just watch her perform and get her a cup of tea backstage. More recently, Waititi admitted at the Toronto International Film Festival he had not completed a script yet. While presenting an award to a fellow director, Sean Levy, who was also working on a Star Wars script, Waititi said, after Levy had made his way with that franchise like a cruel, indiscriminate virus, he'd move on to another, and another, and another, and then eventually probably Star Wars. Waititi then admitted, unlike me, I hope he manages to finish the script for that. So let's just have a look at this little clip here, guys, and just see what he has to say.
He's currently making his own Deadpool movie with his Canadian soulmate, Ryan What's-His-Face, and co-starring one of those other annoying Australians, the guy from The Australian. After he's had his way with that franchise, like a cruel, indiscriminate virus, he'll move on to another and another, and then eventually probably Star Wars. And unlike me, let's hope he manages to finish a script for that. And then, of course, there's the insanely popular Stranger Things that has captured the hearts of people.
So yeah, there we go, guys. It's just a kind of a small clip there of just Taika Waititi talking about Sean Levy moving on to Star Wars after he's finished a few other projects, and he's just making a joke of the fact that he hasn't turned his Star Wars script in yet, which is kind of funny. So the idea that Bob Iger would be making cuts at Star Wars should not surprise anyone either. Needham financial analyst Laura Martin recently attended an investor event at Walt Disney World and reported that Iger and Disney plan to lower output by Marvel Studios and lower the cost per unit. In fact, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige made similar comments at the beginning of this year when he told Entertainment Weekly, quote, we want Marvel Studios and MCU projects to really stand out and stand above. So people will see that as we get further into Phase 5 and 6. The pace at which we're putting out Disney Plus shows will change so they can each get a chance to shine. Absolutely, guys. Limit the amount of projects you're putting out. Instead of just throwing spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks, take more time, put out less projects, but make the quality higher. People will respect you more. The films will get better ratings. They'll do better financially. If each film comes out and it's a massive, like an event, like a Marvel event, like it used to be in the earlier phases. We used to get so excited about going to watch, the latest Marvel films. People would be queuing up outside the theaters at midnight, and it'd be so exciting. And now people are just like, oh, it's another Marvel movie. Probably just be the same as the last 100 that we've seen. But just keep the quality, guys. I really hope that Marvel can get back to its former glory. So when asked if he would be spacing them out or putting out fewer shows per year, he responded, both, I think. Later in an interview, he will reveal, I think that we are doing about 8 projects a year. And again, I said this is going to shift a little bit. They all have to be different. They all have to stand apart and stand alone and be different from one another. Absolutely. Like in the earlier phases of Marvel, you had war movies, you had thriller movies, you had dramas, you had, mysteries. There were so many different genres that Marvel had in their earlier phases that were just so great, and they all stood out and they all had something different to offer. And it feels as though, as we've got into the multiverse saga, it's just become a cookie cutter kind of multiverse of silliness, just kind of, over the top. And I think people are just a little bit fed up with it. So if the company is cutting back on Marvel Studios, it's likely they'll cut back on Star Wars as well. In fact, Bob Iger also said during the company's Q1 financial year 2023 earning results call, quote, we have to be better at curating the Disney and Pixar and the Marvel and the Star Wars of it all. He added, and of course, reduce costs on everything that we make. While we are extremely proud of what's on screen, it's gotten to a point where it's extraordinarily expensive. Absolutely. I mean, we just did a video about the latest Snow White movie that's coming out of Rachel Zegler, and it looks like the budget could balloon up to $300 million for that movie, and that's just ridiculous. Like, they really need to do something about their cost-cutting measures. We all want the quality. We want the quality on screen, but we have to look at the way they cost us. Well, yeah, if you're going to spend $300 million on some sort of woke Snow White movie, then you're not going to make any money, are you? Disney's just going to continue to lose money. So what do you make of this new rumor that Mangold and Waititi's films have been scrapped by Bob Iger? Yeah, it could be well possible. Like it said here, guys, in their earnings call, obviously they're sort of trimming down the fat, trying to streamline Disney, Star Wars and Marvel. And it looks like they may have had to get rid of some projects. If Taika Waititi is struggling with the movie and he couldn't turn in a script, maybe they just said, you know what, we're going to can this and we're just going to move on to something else. But yeah, I mean, it is likely that these 2 projects have been scrapped, guys. I'd just love to know what you think about this, guys. So make sure you jump into the comment section. Let me know what you think about these 2 Star Wars projects being scrapped. Are you kind of disappointed to hear that they're being scrapped, or do you think they sound good and you would like to see them? Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching the video, guys, and I will see you soon.